Margaret Ritchie, SDLP leader, thanks for joining us. 20% of young people in Northern Ireland are currently without a job, without prospects. In simple terms, how will you get them back to work?
Good morning, Roger. The SDLP wants to build a Northern Ireland which is attractive to business, which puts special emphasis on sustaining existing employment opportunities and creating new employment opportunities. Your question is absolutely apt, because the issue on all the doorsteps that I have knocked and all the doors I have knocked, and that of my colleagues right throughout the length and breadth of the Northern Ireland, is about how do you get my son or how do you get my daughter a job? How do they be sustained in their existing job? How do you prevent emigration? So what we want to do is look after the sick, respect our older citizens, and have a Northern Ireland that is a great place to work and bring up a family. And in fact, the SDLP brought forward proposals about how the economy should be sustained and how it should be regenerated and re-stimulated.
Margaret, if I could just pick some of those. You don't believe that the £4 billion of spending cuts in Northern Ireland over 4 years needs to be quite as bad as that. Give us a practical example of some of the new revenue streams or efficiencies in your document.
We produced better ideas on how to build prosperity in Northern Ireland, and we showed how much of the $4 billion of cuts waved through without a whimper by others could actually be mitigated. For example, to rebalance the economy and re-stimulate it, there are three particular avenues. First of all is the whole area of job creation. We believe that work could be done through investing in home insulation grants, because there's two avenues there. The first thing is you redirect the money within the budget, which is currently lazy and unimaginative, into reprioritising projects such as home insulation. You put money into that through bringing people back into work who are currently out of work, those in the construction industry, and you also reduce fuel poverty. So you have two hits which bring benefit and value and esteem to your local community. Another avenue is to look at this current state of the roads following the severe winter conditions. Why not reprioritise money into that particular area and repair the road structure, which would take a year, because many of the roads are falling away in the middle. The resurfacing urgently needs. Many of them are pitted with potholes. Again, you're bringing value to your construction industry, putting people back into work and providing an infrastructural benefit right throughout Northern Ireland. And those are two immediate benefits to our local community.
Yes, but of course other departments would have to suffer perhaps. But moving on slightly, you want a 25-year deal, a 25-year compact with the Treasury to help rebalance the economy. That's mighty ambitious. I mean, governments work on 5-year cycles. How is that going to happen?
I would suggest that the assumption and the assertion underlying your question is not where we should be at. If we are serious about rebalancing the economy, if we are serious about taking eventual responsibility for our social security benefit structure, and if we are serious about wanting more forms of devolution, and if we're serious about wanting more tax-varying powers, then you, irrespective of what our constitutional position is, we have to enter into a compact, into a social and economic and financial compact with the Treasury, whereby you have inbuilt understandings and undertakings with the Treasury that you safeguard the people of the north of Ireland, and that should continue, that financial safeguarding, for a period of time, even if unity takes place. Okay.
I'm going to go back to government efficiencies towards the end, but moving on to security, the security situation. Margaret Ritchie, SDLP leader, the Real IRA on Easter Sunday promised to kill more police. They made a chilling statement in Derry. Would you talk to them, the Real IRA, or should they be hunted down and prosecuted?
Well, they're various aspects to your particular question. The first thing is they're absolute assumptions and assertions about killing people are totally unacceptable. They should totally decommission and get off the stage immediately, because the people of Ireland, both north and south, have totally rejected them. Now, I fully commend Father Michael Canny in Derry, a very good person who said that he would talk to them in order to get them off the rung of violence. Always remember, it was my former party leader, John Hume, who actually did talk to them, talked to the original provisional IRA and Sinn Féin, and told them about the error of being involved in terrorism and violence. And that actually proved beneficial. I suppose, like many others, if it was going to, shall we say, bring benefit, and if they were going to stop violence, then it would be beneficial to do so. But I would really like to know, what are their true intentions? Do they really want to pursue a political path, or are they simply using violence, which they inherited from the previous dispensations and previous iterations of the IRA, and are they really serious about a political path?
Yeah, which is hard to believe, seeing they're so small and they don't have a political agenda. They seem to be quite nihilistic on that. Margaret Ritchie, government efficiencies are a big issue, because almost half of the candidates in the Assembly election are going to be assured a job paying out more than £40,000 a year when they get re-elected to Stormont. Do they need to be as many MLAs? Do we need to get the council reforms through, getting them down from 26 to 11? Do the SDLP support that?
Very clearly, the SDLP have always supported the review of public administration and have supported the number of councils being down to 11. We supported it during the last executive and the Assembly. The problem lay with the DUP and Sinn Féin, who could not agree eventually on parliamentary boundaries or local government boundaries in the actual executive and in their background negotiations. The bottom line is, people want better government, whether it is in central government or in local government, because they want the benefits to come to themselves, to come to their families, and of greater efficiencies. What they're looking for is a better educational system. They're looking for their bins and their to be emptied in time, for their streets to be completely clean, and they're looking for no waiting lists for health care. People need benefit brought to themselves. They need jobs, and they need a sound economic framework. You're talking about the actual Assembly. Yes, the SDLP fully recognise that the Assembly in the next time round will be down to 16 constituencies. You multiply that by 6, that brings the number of Assembly members down. We want better government, we want reduced numbers, and we have also argued for a Department of the Economy which would realign all the various areas that are currently dealing with the economy, such as the Office of the First and Deputy First, Department of Enterprise, Trade and Investment, and the Department of Employment and Learning, not only to bring better efficiencies but to bring better benefit to people, so it's more streamlined. For example, the Office of the First and Deputy First Minister is totally bloated. It should be a streamlined cabinet office. And also there are 3 economic policy units in Northern Ireland. There's only room for 1. We want a Department of Energy and Sustainability. But the actual number of departments, that's an issue for negotiations in a post-election scenario.
Margaret, certainly the SDLP at times in the last Assembly gave the appearance of criticising from the sidelines. If you don't if you're in 4th place, say, and behind Sinn Féin with fewer ministers, will you promise to be kind of fully part of all the executive decisions?
Well, the SDLP always played our part in the executive, and again, I don't agree with the question that you're asking, because we always, I have to say, whether it was myself or Alex Atwood, we always brought our proposals to the table. Mind you, sometimes our proposals sat in the drawers of OFM, DFM for maybe 2 to 3 years, which was totally unacceptable on their part. Where the SDLP saw that budget proposals were not going to bring benefit to the wider public, we said so, and we had every right to do so on behalf of the public. Now, the second issue is we're going into this election, we are fighting this election, and we are contesting it on the 5th of May to be a party at the centre of government, because we have the proposals on finance, on the economy, and we feel we're the only party that is best placed to unite people and build prosperity.
But finally, Margaret Ritchie, I mean, polling suggests the dogs in the street might concur that you're not going to win on May the 5th in the Assembly elections. How well do you hope to do, and why vote SDLP? What's the distinctive nationalist positive baggage that comes with that?
Well, again, the SDLP is going to win on the 5th of May. The SDLP wants to build a better north, which is attractive to business, which looks after its sick and respects its older citizens, and particularly a north, which is a great place to work and bring up a family. But the question is, how do we get there? And you can only get there by uniting people and building prosperity. And we ask ourselves the central question, which party is best placed with the ideas and with the track record in government and also in local government to unite people and build prosperity, to put an emphasis on creating jobs, on sustaining existing jobs, on dealing with waiting lists in the health service, on resolving all the chaotic systems we have in our education system, whether it's transfer, whether it's the issue to do with literacy or numeracy, or the deficit in nursery place education, or the problems in higher and further education. It's the SDLP, because we put people first, we put their needs and their requirements first, and the issues on the doorstep are our issues, and we're dealing with them on a day-to-day basis.
Margaret Ritchie, you want a new focus on upcoming 100th anniversaries, 1912 Ulster Covenant, 1916 Easter Rising. You want to remove the contention from these sort of events. How would that work?
Why would you not want to move contention out of them?
Absolutely.
Only 2 weeks ago, I met along with a party delegation with An Taoiseach in the Kenny. I again had a word with him whenever I was at the Easter Rising commemorations on Sunday. The Irish government is establishing a committee to deal with commemorations. What better way to deal with this than through the issue of consensus? And I commend the Irish government for doing that and bringing a group of people together. And we have asked for northern representation on that committee, because you need discussion, you need dialogue, and you need consensus. Dialogue, consensus is better than contention.
And very finally, can you take the offensive sting out of Ulster Covenant, Easter Rising anniversaries, centenaries, without Disneyfying it and making it into something that is devoid of its original content?
Well, the first thing I would say to you, to understand and to appreciate your history, or and to move forward into the future, you have to understand the past. And I think sharing the story and understanding the narrative about our past in terms of the Ulster Covenant, Easter Rising, the 1914-18 war, and then about the foundation of the Irish state requires a great deal of dialogue, consensus, understanding of our history, and we only can move forward in a positive framework if we understand and appreciate our past.